Morning. Okay. Good morning. Well, it's morning here. I know that it's evening where you guys are. So hopefully it is lovely and the weather is good because it is very cold over here because it's middle of winter. So lovely and nice and early, but that's all right. My husband's up. He's put the fire on for us and I've got fresh coffee, so we're all good to go. So this morning I'm going to talk about the importance of touch. Okay, so a little bit about me. Mum of two. My girls are now 11 and 13, and for about 23 years now I've been an aromatherapist, and so as part of being that, touch is something that you often do, whether it be massage or showing people oils or whatever. Hands are one of the areas that you pretty much focus on a lot of the time. Even when I go to networking groups, for example, touch, you still have to touch people, and hands to me are a great way to do that. And so that's what I thought I would talk about today, about just what touch does, why it's important, and just the change that it can create. And we have these amazing tools right here, okay, and they can do lots and lots of things, and you don't have to have a specific skill or any special training or anything like that. You basically just have to use them, okay? So the where do we start? The amazing so oxytocin is this chemical that runs through our body. It's this hormone that is released when we touch somebody. So when I do my workshop live, I actually get everybody to stand up right at the beginning and hold hands, and you get this whole room of people who are sort of looking at you like you're weird. They also sort of hold hands very nervously and they giggle a bit and whatever. But within a minute or so, you can actually see the whole room start to calm down and they start to feel a bit more comfortable, and you can see them physically relax. And it's because oxytocin has been released in their body, and oxytocin is the happy hormone. It's part of that dopamine story that goes on, reaction that goes on in our body. Okay, so it's when they're holding hands, it starts to work automatically. You don't have a say in it. As soon as you touch, that's what happens. You start to release that great hormone, that oxytocin, and get it running through your body. And it is the feel-good hormone, okay? It helps us connect to others. It helps us feel good. It's a great sensation that brings a sense of well-being and happiness. So, and that's just by touching, okay? Just by holding somebody's hand. So if we do it consciously, so that when I get them all to stand up and they all have that little giggle fit and whatever, that's because, one, they didn't know what to expect. Two, they possibly don't know the person next to them. Three, they've now released this happy hormone and they're starting to relax, okay? So without having done anything apart from just hold hands. So it's quite amazing what it can do. Okay, it can inspire positive thinking and expand trust. Okay, because if you're standing there holding someone's hand, then it does work on that whole trust thing. You do feel a little bit more comfortable, and you know what? Go with your gut feeling. If it doesn't feel right, then there's probably a reason that you're not building up that trust. But when we're talking about just family, you know. I used to work in childcare, and one of the things that we had to do was walk the kids to school. Now, from my house to the school, it's only around the corner, but there's 4 streets that we need to cross. So the very first thing that I taught the kids was to hold hands. To hold hands, because they trust you then that to get across the road is going to be safe. Okay, that they are going to be safe. Plus, then I know where they all are because I had some younger ones as well. But we did that to build trust and to get across the road safely. So it can be that holding that touch, that holding hands thing is something that that everyone can participate in. Even my 11-year-old daughter, I still walk her to school most days, and when we cross the road we just automatically hold hands, and it's that trust, it's that we're going to be okay. So it's quite amazing what it can do. It also boosts your immune system, surprisingly, your immune system, and lowers blood pressure. So I think that's just that whole, the fact that the happy hormone is going through your body starts to relax, so you're less stressed, you're less, full on. So that's what helps with lowering your blood pressure and building your immunity. Well, that's about strong cells, and when you're not stressed, your cells are stronger. Stress and tension all affect the strength of the strength of all your cells, and when your cells are strong, your immunity is stronger. Okay, if your cells are weak, and this is something as aromatherapists that you learn very early on in the piece, that if your immunity is low, then someone can cough a mile away and you're going to catch it. It's pretty much that simple. But if your cells are strong, if your immune system is strong, pretty much, not that we want you to test it, but if somebody sneezed on you, your chances of catching it aren't anywhere near as high as if when your cells are low, and that's why cellular health is really important. So just being able to hold hands or touch somebody or boost someone's immune system is brilliant. If you think about your parents or your grandparents, or the older people in the retirement village, or your old neighbour, whatever, a very powerful tool that you have right here is being able to touch them, to hold their hand. And you know what, if you do it with a little bit of hand cream and just give them, just sit there and talk to them and just rub their hands, that's amazing. And it's it will help do all those things. It will help boost their immunity, and the older we get, the more fragile we get. So that's a brilliant way. And again, no special tools are required. Nothing out of the ordinary is required to do that. It's something that you have right here, right at the end of your arms. You've got your hand. So hold someone's hand and do that. My neighbour next door, it's probably something I should do a little bit more often for her. She's just such a lovely lady. And the next reason that touch is important is probably why I really should do this with her, because it helps reduce social anxiety as well, and stress. Now, I know my neighbour very rarely goes out of the house. She goes out to visit her children and grandchildren, and apart from that, doctors, and I think that's about it. So on a day-to-day basis, she actually doesn't have anybody there that would just automatically touch her. So things like immune system and her stress levels are okay, but her immune system and social anxiety would definitely be rather not where we'd like them to be. So like I said, for me, every day when I walk my daughter to school, we hold hands. So we're getting that power of touch straight away. So something that we can do, that all of us can do for anybody, sorry, I'm going to turn the page again for the thing. Back to sort of some of my notes, but this physical touch increases two of our neurotransmitters, okay, and that is the dopamine, so the happy hormone, and the serotonin. Serotonin helps regulate our moods and relieves stress and anxiety. So those three things that come from just touching are amazing. Okay, I'll go back on those. So that was, I'll recap. Inspires positive thinking and helps expand trust. Okay, it boosts immunity and helps lower blood pressure and reduces social anxiety and stress. So it's amazing. And like I said, just by touching. So it's pretty amazing thing. So with the aromatherapy, one of the things that I do or teach is I teach people how to do a hand massage. And seriously, it doesn't require teaching as such. It is quite such a simple thing to do. But why the one I teach the aroma touch because it uses oils. Okay, and when we use the oils through the aroma touch, it really is about the application of oils to the body, because we know that once they're on the body, that the body absorbs them and utilises them. So as an aromatherapist, I actually do this as a full-on 1 hour session with a person's back and talk about getting I actually do put the oils onto the back and get them into the body. With that one, I don't teach that one just yet, but it's going to come. That's on my list of goals, is to teach the whole process, because it's just such a beautiful way for oils to get into the body. But when we do it with the hands, even something simple like lavender, okay, that's a fairly basic oil. It relaxes, it gets into the immune system, it helps fight infections, it can help with antibacterial, antiviral, all those things. So just that one oil, and we need maybe 2 drops on the hand is all we need. Okay, the massage itself is great for calming, for settling, reducing that feeling of being overwhelmed. It's amazing for connecting, okay, for connecting with other people. I don't know if you guys had the ad on the TV years ago. We had it where it was for a brand of coffee, and basically the whole purpose of the ad was to talk about connecting, and once you connected, how you could then sit and have a conversation. I think it sort of showed the dad coming home and the son and in the kitchen, and you know, the typical grunting at each other until they had their coffee. And once they had their coffee, they could sit down and they could relax a little bit, and then they would have a conversation. So it was a way of connecting. So another way is by holding someone's hand again. You know, just taking the hand, giving them that gentle massage is a great way to start a conversation, to get to the deeper stuff, to, you know, not just the superficial hi, how are you, but to actually sit down and make a connection. And it's one of those funny things that takes away that wall that a lot of people put up just by doing that. And again, you know, if they're feeling uncomfortable or wriggling or just it's not going to happen, then that's fine, let go. But you will find that people will start to relax. Obviously, don't walk up to strangers on the bus and just grab their hand and start going. But if you are in a situation where things are a bit nervous, just or you need to have a conversation with somebody, just offer them a hand massage and start the conversation that way. Okay. Okay, I can see that Elaine has said something, but I can't see anything on my screen. So I'm hoping that I've done this right, and that you can hear me. Where are I? Sorry, give me a second. Okay. Oh, yeah. No, I'm still there. Good. Okay. Just the comment hasn't come up. It sort of flashed on my screen, but I couldn't see it. Okay. We're all good. Okay. So, what else does it do? Relaxing and quality time with another person. So, as we age, or as our parents age as well, having a conversation with mum or just having quality time with her isn't always a priority. For want of a better word, it isn't always what we end up doing. So it is a great way to, just spend some time with her and grab her hand, say, hi, how you doing? And, just be there in that moment, because otherwise we're distracted. I know when I go to visit my mum, who's 75 now, when I go to visit my mum, I've usually got my kids with me, and there's kids everywhere, and she's got the TV on and she's watching some strange, murder mystery, Murdoch or whatever, some strange show, which I don't particularly want to watch, and she's watching that, and the kids are chatting and kids are on their phone. So it would be a really nice way to sort of say, hi, I'm here, and, what can I do for you today? And just have that chat with her. So one way of doing that, or a great way, is if you're going to use oils, always make sure that you do use a really good quality oil. Don't use fragrant stuff. Use a good quality pure oil. There are a few around. I know which one I use. I use the doTERRA. But any oil, as long as it is a good quality, will do the job for you. Okay, now important that we use a good one. Back to my mum, anything fragrant or synthetic just sets her off. She doesn't cope well at all. And I'm even finding that each time I come across something that is synthetic, whether it be a candle or just anything that's in the room that's for mood enhancement, whatever, I'll actually start to get an itchy nose. So could be menopause, I don't know. It's not fun. I don't like it, so I just try to avoid it. And so I always go with a nice pure oil. And like I said, just 1 drop or 2 drops in the hand is all we need, whether it be something that's joyful or calming. Actually, the blend I put in the diffuser before I sat down is a joyful blend. So I love that one, because this is my treatment room that I'm in at home, and that's the go-to in my diffuser for just that nice calming effect. So it is the joyful blend, just to help boost us up a little bit. Other ones that you could use would be grounding blends, definitely, renewing, comforting blends. So there's plenty of options out there. Or if you're at an absolute loss, just go frankincense. Can't go wrong with that one. That one's just amazing. And if there's a lot of panic or a lot of overwhelmed, frankincense is brilliant. And for me, I always have in my handbag, funnily enough, a roller bottle of frankincense with a few other things in it. It's a blend that I carry. I actually use it every day like a perfume. But when it comes to if I was somewhere and there was somebody that was very anxious, or just, everything was getting a bit too much, and the opportunity came up to do something simple like connect and touch and hold their hand, then I've got that roller. It's already in a coconut oil, so I can just roll that on and use it. And it's got, like I said, it's got the frankincense in it, so it would just help calm them down, like it did my friend the other night at a networking thing. Surprisingly, she had a bit of a bad day, and just even me walking up to her, she said she could start to feel it calm. So that bottle's gone from my handbag now, so luckily I had 2. So it is such a beautiful one. Now, pretty much you only need to use a tiny little bit of whatever it is that you're going to use on your hand. Okay, so I would, if if you're going to use a cream, don't use Vaseline or Sorbeline based products. Always use something that is unscented or natural, that doesn't have mineral oil as its first ingredient, because anything with mineral oil basically takes vitamins from the skin. So it takes vitamins A, D, E and K out of the skin, which, you know, if we're going to do something, do it for good. Don't do it to leach the system of anything that it needs. So using something nice and natural is brilliant. What else? Sorbeline, Vaselines work as barriers, so they actually they protect the skin, but they don't actually absorb into the skin. So they're not going to do anything apart from sit on the surface. And a good way to test that is if you do use a cream and then you go and wash your hands, for example. If your hands feel gross and greasy and the water bubbles, or not bubbles, dots on your hands, then what you've got is a very strong mineral oil on your hands. So if your hands still feel really soft and you can dry them and not feel like you're taking off a whole layer of stuff that you've put on, then you're on the right track. You're using something nice and natural, which is great. So we put that on there, and then when I do it, I put my hands on both sides of my person, and I use my thumbs and I go up the back of the hand here. This is interesting, trying to get my hands around, but I put my thumbs together like this, hold it around the person's hand, and I just stretch. So if you can imagine, I've got my two hands, I put them up the person, and I stretch them across the hand. And even just doing that, you can see the person usually go, oh, they just feel that tension release, which is quite amazing for that one stretch. And I just start that down here, okay, and work up the hand until I get to about here. And yeah, with both hands, that is. So I've only got two, so I need one to show you, but do it that way. And it's quite a strong place to start, but very gentle. And like I said, you'll see that whole trust thing start to happen straight away as soon as you do that. It is beautiful. Obviously, you're doing it from this angle, from this side. Okay. If they flinch at any stage during what you are doing, that's an underlying factor that there's maybe something else going on. For example, like this area here is to do with headaches. So if you touch that bit and it's really tender, then they could have the starts of a headache, whether they've told you or not. So it's interesting as you work through the hand, a bit like your feet. There are points that reflect then with the entire body. So there is a corresponding area everywhere. Okay, so then the next little tip is, I'm guessing you guys have seen the Karate Kid, is the wax on, wax off motion. So the wax on, wax off. And I do that using my thumbs in small circles into three sections of the hand. So I actually start with this one. So this is section one. So I do my wax on, wax off in this section. And then I do this section. Okay, and they're pretty, you got to love the body, it's well marked. Look, there's the line, so let's do this section first. There's the other line, so we'll do this section, and then this is the third section up here. So wax on, wax off. So I'm not changing direction with one thumb, but do one direction, one the other, and it's a great way to get into that. And like I said, sometimes it can just be about the application of oils. It's a great way to get them into the body, and all we're doing is spreading them out over the different meridians and the different sections of the hand that, like I said, then correspond with so much more of the body. So they are there, and we are so section 1, section 2 and section 3. So we do the wax on, wax off on that one. So that one feels great. I love it in here. Now I've got a bit of arthritis in there, and even just that wax on, wax off feeling, you can feel it start to release and give me a little bit more movement just by doing that one little thing, which is quite amazing. The next one we do it 3 times. Now, a lot of things that we do when we're doing things, if you do them in if you do them 3 times, what it does is it gives the body a chance to release, to react, and to relax. So that's why you will often find movements are done 3 times for that reason. So to release, to react, and to relax. So the next thing that we do on the hand is we do what's called pinpoint. Okay, so we start at the wrist and we use our thumbs again. Okay, but this time what we're going to do is we're going to do thumb over thumb, pressing down. Okay, if you can imagine, right? So I'm moving down. So I'm going to go like this, like a bit awkward, like this with my thumbs, but with both my thumbs. So doing sort of on-off type motion. But I'm going to go all the way down from the wrist with the thumb all the way down to the body. Now this then gets to all those meridians, all those energy points that that affect the body and the body's system. So it's a brilliant way to do it, and it's just nice, something nice and simple. Like I said, you don't need to have any special qualification to do this, but it does react and set things happening in a person's body. Apart from the fact you've already now definitely got the oxytocin happening, you've now got a tool where you are starting to relax that person or de-stress them, or you know what, even if they're just watching what you're doing and it takes their mind off what it was that was stressing them, it's brilliant. So 3 times per zone you have in your hand, much like your feet and your spine, your back, you've got 5 zones. Okay, so zone 1 is this one here, so from over here down to the tip of your thumb. Zone 2 is from your wrist down your hand to here. Okay, zone 3 down to down the middle finger. Zone 4 is here, and zone 5 is sort of over this little lumpy bit here down to the tip of your finger. And we do that thumb movement all the way down our hand, and that gets the whole body happening. And we do each zone 3 times, okay, so that the body has the chance to release, to react, and to relax. Okay. Okay, there you go. My notes have got a picture of a cow on them. Go figure that one. You know, we're talking about hands and touch and massage, but the next movement is an interphalangeal. So your fingers are your phalanges. So it is an interphalangeal pull. So it is actually this part here. Okay, this soft tissue between the fingers, and the way to do it is using your hand is to actually pull it, and that's why there's a picture of a cow. It says it's kind of like milking a cow, because it's it is a bit of a strange sensation when you first do it, but put a little bit of pressure on it and it's almost like a pinch. But obviously if they're older, don't do it so hard. I did it with some older ladies recently at a fundraiser that I went to. It was one of those to raise funds for cancer support and things, and I took my oils and my hand cream, and I actually just walked around with a couple of rollers in the end, and did that with a couple of old ladies, and a few of them sort of, when it finished and I was about to let go, they were holding on, because I don't think they get that personal touch very often at all. So it was really nice to do and get to hear some of their stories and learn about them. So it was good fun. I enjoyed it, and like I said, I could see that they started to relax and enjoy it as well. So that pretty much is why I think that touch is important, and one way that we can incorporate it into our lives on a regular basis, and we can make a difference with other people, with, like I said, with our parents. You know, I could do that with my dad, and it wouldn't be weird, where, you know, I can't stand, and I don't know, I don't cuddle him anymore so much. You know, you'll do the greet when you see him, but we don't actually have that great connection thing. So that, again, it's a really good way to do it. There you go. If anyone's got any questions, fire away, because in case you haven't noticed, I do like to talk, and I'm pretty good at that one. So if you've got any questions, please fire away. Now, where's it's all right, I was just seeing, because I can't see on here whether or not there's been any comments. 8 p.m. in the UK, that's insane. Well, I'm guessing it's now 8:30, because it is 5:30 in the morning here. So 5:30, and my days don't normally start first thing in the morning, that early in the morning. But for you guys, why not? Okay, well, I've actually put a link when I introduced myself. There is a link there, and if anyone does have any questions about what I talked about today, or about oils or anything that I mentioned, then I'd love for you to pop me a message, and I will do those. I can see that it's happened again. I can see that Elaine has mentioned me, but I can't. Okay. Now I've got it. Thank you, Elaine. It's all right. Now I can see that they're not coming up on my little screen, but I can see them here. So let me have a quick look here. Look at this. I have one of my ladies has gotten up early this morning to listen. Good morning, Donna. Thank you for joining us. So Donna's actually my MEBA lady in New South Wales in Australia. Did I mention? Yeah, New South Wales is where I'm from. And Elaine has said she could listen to me all night. Thank you very much. Like I said, I do tend to like to talk, and it's one of those things. So, yeah, crikey, nice one. Good Aussie word, that one. You've watched too much of The Crocodile Hunter, obviously. But thank you very much. And like I said, if anyone does have any questions, because I do know that it goes on to a replay, then pop them under the code, or just send me a message, and I'd love to sort of answer any questions that you have. And I may go back to bed yet, I'm still thinking, but thank you for having me. Good night.